Back to the Dean Obeidallah show. Right now, very happy to have on Congressman Hank Johnson, a Democrat, representing the 4th District in Georgia, serves on Judiciary Committee, Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. Congressman Johnson, a happy new year. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for spending time here on the 5th anniversary of the Donald Trump terrorist attack on our Capitol, as he's desperate to rewrite it. But thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, Dean, and Happy New Year to you and to all of your audience out there.
So I heard earlier today the House Democrats had hearings that dealt with to commemorate the 5th anniversary of the worst terrorist attack ever incited by a sitting U.S. president on the United States. What can you share about the event itself?
Well, it reopened trauma for many members who appeared and testified about the experience of January 6th and being trapped in the House chamber, either on the floor or in the gallery, and just the danger that we were in, and so it brought out members are still having difficulty processing what happened and discussing it in public, and we also had Capitol Hill police officer we had who testified about what took place. We had a insurrectionist herself, a 72-year-old grandmother, who refused Trump's pardon because she realized that day that what she was doing was wrong, and she pleaded guilty and served 60 days in prison for what she did, and she refused to accept Donald Trump's pardon. She was there talking about how gratified she was that her life was saved by the Capitol Hill police after she had been knocked on the ground and trampled. And, and she was laying there unable to breathe, and how they took time away from defending themselves and us to take care of her, who had gone to the Capitol as an insurrectionist. And she also testified about the conversion from the lies that Donald Trump told leading to January 6th, and the lies that he continues to tell about what happened on January 6th. It was not a walk in the park or a tourist, trip, something like that. She said, "Don't tell me that. I was there, and I saw how violent it was." And of course, we had member of the Justice Department who resigned in protest after his work prosecuting the 1,500 plus insurrectionists was thrown out the window with a mass indiscriminate pardon issued on January 20th this year, the day Donald Trump ascended back into the office that he so badly mishandled the first time out. So it was a good day, and it came, Dean, on a day that the White House put out a statement totally, they're lying about what happened on January 6th, and they're trying to remake history, whitewash history, and trying to eliminate the truth about what happened on January 6th. And so this hearing today was to make sure that we don't forget what happened and to put it in the annals of congressional history.
Yeah, today, Donald Trump and the White House, using our taxpayer dollars, posted a website filled with lies in which he celebrates the January 6 terrorists and literally blames the police for provoking the violence. And then he also takes shots at Mike Pence, which is just remarkable. The man was only almost killed by Donald Trump's supporters. Donald Trump is a dangerous threat, not just to our democracy, I think to other democratic nations as well. And it's weird to say that about the president of the United States, but I think we have to be blunt. This is really a man who is maybe the gravest threat to our democracy and some of our allies that we've seen in many, many years.
Yeah, Donald Trump is the kind of leader similar to Hitler, who plays upon people's emotions and ignorance and stirs up their passions and prejudices so that he can then lead them into doing something that right-minded people would not do. And in the case of our democracy, it is to attempt to destroy our democracy. And that is what Donald Trump has done. In Hitler's case, it was to try to eliminate Jews and others from the planet, a much more diabolical scheme. But Donald Trump is capable of the same thing, Dean. And if you let him go too far, then he will just go further and further. And so that's why he has to be stopped now. And we have to contest everything that he does. The American people have to get out and protest peacefully against the policies of this administration, both foreign and domestic, because they both affect taxpayers.
I'm Chairman Congressman Hank Johnson. So, turning to Venezuela and what Donald Trump did there, he waged an attack on another sovereign nation and kidnapped their leader, and is telling us point blank he's doing this to take the oil. He's not hiding this. He did not consult with Congress, but he told us he consulted with the oil companies in advance. Well, what's your reaction to that?
Well, oil companies have come out and said we did not speak to Trump about it. So I don't know who's telling the truth. You can never count on Trump to tell the truth.
Right.
He may have actually been talking to rare earth material extractors or mining interests. He may have been talking to mining interest about the extraction of rare earth minerals from Argentina. That could be his main objective, and he's just saying oil, just to kind of distract people. But his real intent is rare earth minerals, of which there are many types and abundant supplies of in Argentina, as they are in Greenland. And so, this president would certainly take oil profits. I'm not saying he would not do that. In fact, I believe that he certainly has had oil on his mind. He mentioned it 20 times in his press conference the other day. But he's got oil, natural gas, and rare earth minerals, and gold also, which he loves so much, gold. You can find a lot of gold in Argentina. So he may have been talking to mining interests as opposed to oil and gas interests and just got it mixed up. I don't know. But he did not talk to members of Congress.
Right. I mean, look, is there any talk that what he did rises to the level of impeachment? I know you can't impeach without Republicans joining, but I'm saying, does it rise to the level of the high crime and misdemeanor that if Democrats had the House, there would be talk of impeachment?
What the president has done is usurped once again the power of the legislative branch. It's only our power in Article 1 of the Constitution to declare war. And what Trump did when he bombed a sovereign nation, and then he invaded the nation, and then extracted or kidnapped its leader, that's an act of war. So whether or not you say that I'm declaring war on you, or whether or not you actually declare war through your acts, it's still a declaration of war. And that is Congress's responsibility, not the commander-in-chief. And so in that respect, his action is illegal under U.S. law. And it certainly rises to the level of a high crime and misdemeanor, certainly rises to that level, especially when you consider at least 40 people killed in this invasion. And he's threatening to do more, threatening to wreak more havoc on the people of Venezuela at the expense of the taxpayers of this country, who never authorized him to go down there. When people are concerned about the high cost of living, unaffordable healthcare premiums. The rent is too high. Can't afford to buy a house because of the private equity firms that the billionaire private equity firms that the president consorts with have bought up all of the housing stock and charging inordinate prices for that. The prices of groceries through the roof. Can't afford childcare. And those are the things that the American people are interested in. They're not interested in, this president going down to Argentina and ruining it and taking it over and running it at our expense. We didn't sign up for that.
Do you think there's, from a legal point of view, that there's a chance he could have exposed himself and others in his regime to violating international law and be subjected to prosecution by the International Criminal Court? Because Venezuela is a signatory. We're not. But if you commit crimes on the soil of a signatory nation, people can be charged and have been charged.
Well, I'm not a student of international law, but I do know that you don't go in and invade a sovereign nation and kidnap its leader and then install a puppet regime or try to install a puppet regime, put that regime in place, and then rape and plunder the land of those people so that you can extract the raw materials, export them for refinement and development somewhere else, and leave a big hole in the ground and leave polluted water and air behind in the land that you have plundered. That's been a developmental model for centuries, and we certainly don't want to go back to it, the old imperialism, European style imperialism and American style imperialism. We don't want to go back to those days. It's inhuman, it's immoral, and it's unsustainable.
On some level, Congressman, if you take a step back, it's surreal that we are having a conversation here in 2026 on the 5th anniversary of the January 6th terrorist attack that was incited by Donald Trump and waged by his followers. At the same time, having a conversation with him attacking Venezuela with no congressional authorization, no threat to our nation, kidnapping the leader and vowing to take their resources and threatening even our NATO allies like Denmark and threatening Colombia and Cuba and Mexico. How did the United States of America get to this place?
Yeah, we elected a madman who is a liar and a cheat, and he's corrupt, and he's enriches himself. He's focused on power and money, and he was duly elected by the American people, and he was hoodwinked. And he hoodwinked his supporters, many of whom it's like they've drunk Kool-Aid and cannot wake up from the stupor that they were put under with the Kool-Aid that they drunk. And but some of them it's starting to wear off on some of them. Marjorie Taylor Greene is an example. Thomas Mastie, to a lesser extent, another example. But there may be, and I hope there are, more and more folks going in that direction. They're waking up, realizing that they have consumed something that has hurt them, and they'll start spitting it out so that they can turn and move in a different direction. And we can get rid of this guy. It's going to be the people, not the legislators, but it's going to be we the people who stop this guy from doing what he's doing.
And you mentioned hoodwink. Donald Trump ran on no more endless wars, no more the idea of these foolish military activities. If he had run, Congressman, on the idea that elect me, I will attack Venezuela, I will steal their resources, I will bomb 8 countries, I will threaten our NATO allies. If he had ran on that and won, well, we'd say, what can we do? He ran on the opposite. He ran on not doing any of this. So yes, I get it. He's a liar, but this is a different type of lie. This really goes to the sales, especially a lot of young men who liked him, didn't want these old-time politicians who say one thing and do another. He is literally the manifestation of the politician who goes out tells you one thing, and it's a bait and switch and just lies right here. And it can affect our lives depending where we get into a war. Some of the young MAGA men have to go fight that war for Donald Trump.
Well, he's a classic con man, and those same young men who are bedded down on the couch in the basement of their parents' home, looking at videos and watching social media, right-wing podcasts. They'll be looking for Don Bongino to reassume his role. I don't know what he's going to say when he gets back, because he has absolutely zero credibility on either side at this point. But I mean, they're listening to all kinds of trash, information that is not accurate, misleading and false information, listening to it, consuming it. And maybe these young men will decide to leave the basement and come out into the light, and maybe start talking to some of their neighbors, and maybe even talking to some folks of the fairer sex, not being afraid to go out and talk to some ladies, develop some friends, and maybe you can learn a little something about what's happening out here, and develop some respect for people, regardless of whether or not they're male or female or other.
Right. It's Nick Fuentes, I think you're referring to, who was, I think, on Piers Morgan over the holidays and said he's never dated a woman or anyone for that matter. And like, maybe if you had some human contact, it would actually help you on some level. I don't care who you pick, as long as it's consenting, maybe you'd be a better person. But getting back to the real world here. So the ACA subsidies now are done. There are a lot of people now, and I had a listener call last night. A friend said they couldn't afford insurance any longer because Donald Trump cut the ACA subsidies and the Republicans to give a tax cut to the wealthy. What did you hear back in Georgia? What are you hearing from people about inability to afford insurance, or how they're making ends meet if they're going to keep insurance at a much higher rate?
Well, the other day I heard from a single mother of 3 children. One is around 17, one is maybe around 9, and the other is around 3 or 4. She works hard every day, but just trying to make ends meet. She had Obamacare insurance. Her subsidy reduced her cost for that insurance down to something like 49 cents a month.
Wow.
But now she's paying $149 a month. I mean, and so one would say, okay, well, that's not a whole lot of money. Well, it is for this young woman trying to feed her 3 kids and keep shelter over them, keep up the car note and the insurance, and pay the gas and electric bills, and keep groceries on the table is difficult. That $149, she's gonna try to swing it, but it's gonna be a month by month basis for her, and I hope that she makes it. Now, on the other hand, she's young and her children are young and they are healthy. But there are others who have Obamacare. They are not, they are older, approaching elderliness, and they have some health issues, but their insurance premiums have gone up dramatically as well, to the point where they can't afford to pay $2,600 a month for an insurance premium. So they have to go without, their family has to go without insurance. These are people who need insurance and need access to health care the most. They're the ones who are being hurt the most. And those are Donald Trump voters as well.
Sure. It's people are going to have no coverage, which is the risk there of that is that anytime you get sick, you're worried, is it going to bankrupt you? Is it going to be something bad? Or you don't even go to the doctor because you can't afford it and you're afraid what they're going to find out. And then it gets worse and worse. How is the economy in Georgia? You know, I see a lot of data on different things in different states. We see unemployment's gone up 15% last year from January through December. But on a real level, when you talk to people back in your district, what are they saying about the economy?
Yeah, people are worried about it because prices continue to go up. Jobs are being lost. They hear from neighbors and relatives about them having lost their jobs. They're wondering, could it happen to me? And so people are kind of preparing for the worst, hoping for the best. There's a, I mean, people are not particularly optimistic about the future, while they're not, downtrodden, but they are concerned about the future, and they don't like the direction that we're headed in. And it looks like stormy weather up ahead for the people that I'm talking to, their pocketbooks, their families. People are, quite frankly, kind of preparing themselves for that. Things are tightening up. There's no question about it. It's not as much money circulating in the community as it used to. You can go to your local beauty shop and barber shop and talk with the people there, and they will tell you that things have slowed down. I mean, I mean, and for women who are getting their hair done, a lot of women use extensions in their hair. They purchase hair and have it weaved into their hair, and the cost of the hair has gone up dramatically. And so, I mean, women are feeling the pinch on that kind of in that kind of way, and it's having an impact on people. The coming of bad times, I think that's what people are preparing for.
Yeah, and
Tough
that's all backed up.
times.
Yep, that's backed up by the consumer sentiment numbers that show dropping month after month in a row, 4 months in a row. And businesses, I speak to small business owners around here in New York City, same thing, grave concerns. No one, it's the uncertainty. We don't know where it's going. Before I let you go, Congressman, on a much lighter note, you made a very good song called He's Gone Trumpy. And we're going to play a minute of it going out to break. But tell us quickly, what's the story behind the song before we play it?
Well, I sometimes I have to laugh to keep from crying, and if I'm not laughing, I'm listening to music or even maybe playing a little bit, and either the drums or the guitar, and so I decided to throw some lyrics on a song with a catchy song, and throw some relevant lyrics on top of it, and just see where it went. And so that's what produced Gone Trumpy.
He's Gone Trumpy, and he did it in the studio and everything with the video. So it's on Instagram. As we go to break, Congressman, we're going to play a little bit so people can get a sample of it. And if they want to check it out, go to Congressman Hank Johnson's Instagram page, and you can see all over there. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us today, especially on this anniversary of the horrible attack on our country. And I look forward to chatting with you in the future.
Thank you, Dean, and have a great year. We'll talk to you soon.